We live on a 50-acre farm in the southeast corner of Sicily, where we produce fine olive oil and the juice of the pomegranate tree. We love the land here, along with all our animals who share the land with us. Welcome to our home, and through these doors join us as the adventure of a lifetime begins. Hello, I'm Gary, and welcome to The Shed. It's good to have you here for the first public reveal of this place. The Shed is 300 square meters of workspace. It's here that we make stuff and we break stuff, all in the name of pushing ourselves way outside our comfort zones. It's all about the spirit of creativity that's hidden deep in all of us. As someone once said, a creative spirit that's ready, just waiting for a pair of hands. And this is where you come to get those hands dirty. Maybe the best way to explain this place is just a quick look around. Let's go. First, a bit of a shortcut through the office. It's usually a bit of a mess in here. And then we enter the painting area, where I am still learning to paint. As you can probably tell, I like to copy the old masters, Caravaggio, Vermeer, Rembrandt, and many, many more. I'm trying to understand their techniques as a way of learning, but there's so much to learn. This is a place where I do some simple leather work, all hand-stitched so far. I love the touch of leather, and maybe one day a sewing machine. Over here, this long bench is where I make small things like models and props from TV shows and movies. I'll show you how this is done soon. We use lots of different materials here. And we'll make some models so you get an idea of how it's done. Of course, right there, the beer safe, just a step away, and close to the mobile rack I built for my guitar collection. Now we start to enter the hard work area, like woodwork and big projects like this workbench. I love making that. And then on to some of the motorcycles. There are 13 in the shed currently. And among my favourites is this 1973 Honda 4, which we broke down into 1,000 pieces and rebuilt into a custom design with state-of-the-art electronics. Now the bikes range from just about brand new to 78 years old. I'll introduce you soon. Then into the metalwork area, where we have MIG, TIG and stick welding, along with plasma technology for cutting through thick metal. I love working with steel, pretty much essential when you're redesigning bikes. From here we enter a corridor that takes us first to the music studio. This is where I like to write and produce original songs. None ever published, of course, it's all just for fun. I've been playing guitar most of my life. I'd say I'm still just at intermediate standard and barely started as a student of drums and piano. Now across the corridor, this is the bathroom. Now I don't think this is especially interesting, but our Italian visitors seem to get a good laugh out of this. Angelica always describes me to visitors as Crocodile Dundee, and people love the oil drums for the cover of the boiler and for the sink. Now I would bet this is the last time you'll see this space. Back into the workshop. Now this is where a lot of woodwork is done in this area. A lot of saws and other equipment for woodworking, and lots of wooden boxes everywhere. Obsessed about those. And here, 45 drawers full of all the essential small bits, screws, nuts, bolts and brackets, close at hand to the main workbench right ahead of us. Now this is where you will see me most often, at Shed Central. I hope you end up spending a lot of time with me there. Just to be clear, we're not making how-to videos here. I'm an expert on nothing, you see, but curious about everything. You won't learn much from me other than, I hope, the joy of discovering your own creativity. Something I really believe is anything can be learned, and if I can do it, anybody can. Now, along the way, you'll learn a little bit about me and some of the people close to me, starting with my two angels, Angelica and Angelo. First, of course, my extraordinary wife, Angelica, with a PhD in theoretical philosophy, obviously much smarter than me, and looking just as good in her green wellies on the farm as she does on the red carpet. Then there's Angelo. Well, there's not much red carpet about Angelo, but he's amazing with the animals. He takes great care of the farm, and he's a very useful second pair of dirty hands here in the shed. About 4 years ago, I retired at the end of a 45-year career in TV. And at the time, I thought I was pretty much done with the high profile and the constant messaging. Time to slip under the radar, I thought. But now I can see the world culture is at an important turning point, and it's time for me to take some responsibility. Time to speak up. Now I know I have a lot to say, quite a lot to say, and I'm not afraid. So let this adventure begin, starting with my recent personal story, a series of events that turned my life upside down and helped set an exciting new path for the future. You'll see what I mean as this story unfolds. It's now March 29, and earlier this month I was diagnosed with throat cancer. And as you can imagine, this was me 7 months ago, facing the reality of an aggressive carcinoma. For professionals, here's the detail. That means it's big, it's serious, and it was in a difficult place on the right side of my throat, threatening the vocal cords. Tests showed the cancer had not spread, so good reason for a brave face. So that's the point we're at right now. So off we went, heading north, with no idea what was ahead of us. All I knew for sure was, for the first time in my life, I had a strong sense of vulnerability. I was open and ready for just about anything. Off we went by plane and train and motor vehicle, from Milan to Brescia to Venice, and finally to the beautiful city of Padua. This university city is home to one of Europe's most important cancer centres, the IOV, the Veneto Institute of Oncology. I would be spending a lot of time here in the coming weeks. But before checking in for treatment, something truly remarkable happened. Just 5 minutes from the hospital, I found something that was going to change my life. Or rather, it found me. Here in Padua, this is the site of a Christian church dating back to Roman times. It's also the sanctuary to Leopoldo Mandić, Saint Leopoldo Mandić. This is a man who the Catholic Church named as the patron saint of sufferers of cancer. Leopoldo was a tiny man. He was about 4 foot 5 inches tall. That's just a little over 1.3 meters. So he was a tiny man, but a giant among men of faith. Born Bogdan Ivan Mandić in 1866, he was Croatian, the youngest of 12 children. Deeply religious from childhood, he was ordained a priest in his late 20s and assumed the name of Leopoldo. He suffered many disabilities, including a speech impediment that prevented him from ever delivering the Mass or any other service in public. So Leopoldo dedicated himself to confessions, working in this tiny room, 2 meters by 2 meters, working here for 34 years, often spending 15 hours a day hearing confessions. This is a corridor right behind the confessional here, and the worshippers would come down this corridor and speak to the saint through this window. What's really interesting is behind this wall opens up into the main church, and on that wall is the Madonna that he prayed to every day. One day he experienced a vision with the Madonna and later predicted that the church would be destroyed by bombing. When war arrived, the inside of the church was obliterated by Allied bombs. Only 2 things survived, the Madonna and Saint Leopold's confessional, just as he had predicted. The saint explained God had dispensed too much mercy there for it to be destroyed. In 1942, Saint Leopold died, aged 76, himself a victim of cancer of the throat. Leopold rests here, and today this place is a place of prayer, attracting cancer survivors from all over the world. It's easy to be skeptical about the idea of miracles, but in naming Leopold a saint, the church had no doubt. And certainly no doubt among the pilgrims, leaving thousands of tributes to Leopoldo, messages of thanks, a testament to the miracle of belief. I was lucky enough to visit the room where Leopoldo slept and died. There I added my name to a list of cancer pilgrims. The saint once said, "Faith, have faith. God is doctor and medicine." When I signed the visitor book, I wrote, "Thank you, Saint Leopold, for finding me." So now it was check-in time at the hospital for the first round of my chemotherapy treatments. I won't bother you with the details, except to say round 1 amounted to about 80 hours of an intravenous cocktail of 3 different chemicals. Drip, drip, drip. And then finally, it was home for some shameless self-indulgence. I was feeling like I was getting through the worst of this challenge, but still obviously work in progress. Having gotten this far, there were so many people I needed to thank, but now didn't just seem like the right time. I was, however, very grateful to all the family and friends who refrained from any lectures about the evils of drinking and smoking. Good thing, too, they would have gotten a colourful response from me. You see, I have no regrets. I'm not proud, but not ashamed either. I loved every sip and I loved every puff. That's me at my 70th birthday party, proudly astride my 1947 Harley-Davidson knucklehead, with a gin and tonic in one hand and a good cigar in the other. Oh, those were the days. And on the evening of my diagnosis, we were joined for dinner by our friend and guide, Professor Piero Nicolai. As we sat down, I said, "Listen, I'm going to order a double gin and tonic before some asshole says it's forbidden." He said, "Absolutely correct. I'll have one too." The best advice I was getting from everyone at the time was, just think positive. And I threw myself into that. As someone who had used meditation on and off for many years, I set myself up for a nightly drift into deep meditation, and as best I could, redirect positive energy wherever I thought my body might need it most. And I was surprised how many of the doctors actually believe this really can make a difference. Now, here's how I have always done meditation. I get into a relaxed position with controlled breathing and then watch the random thoughts start filling my head. I acknowledge every thought. I don't get sucked into them, I just acknowledge them. Then as the thought drifts across in front of me, I navigate through the clutter, between and beyond the thoughts, out there in the black where the peace is. Simple enough, right? I was ready for a relaxing time, but it wasn't to be. Something extraordinary happened, and nothing could have prepared me for what was about to happen next. For the first time ever, my traditional meditation pattern was broken. It was interrupted by a tiny black and white object that started to appear from the left side of my field of vision. This had never happened before. As it drifted straight towards me, I was becoming very uncomfortable. This was just so unfamiliar to me, so strange, it was making me feel uncomfortable. So much so, I found myself lifting myself up on one elbow, trying to get a closer look. A closer look? Remember, I'm in meditation with my eyes closed. Eventually, the object came into focus and it said, "Is this life enough?" No question mark, just, "Is this life enough?" Well, I reacted badly. I thought, of course this life is enough. I've never been happier. I have everything a man could want. I was genuinely surprised about my own agitation. And slowly I started to take a different view and decided this must be some kind of a wake-up call. Time for a rethink. And since then, time to reassess. Yes, this clearly was a message. And I understand it now. You see, 4 years ago when I retired, I kind of disappeared. In fact, I can now admit I built this place, I built the shed as a place for me to hide. I guess I felt like I'd had enough of the high profile and the constant communications. I thought, I have nothing further to add. Well, turns out I was wrong, very wrong. Here's why. You see, I know now that life is never enough. Enough is just a resting place before the start of your next adventure. Well, here I am, ready to go. And that's why we're here on YouTube to launch Gary's in the Shed. Here to push myself beyond enough, excited by the possible, sharing my obsessions, wanting to share the things I really care about, and hoping I can encourage you to attach that pair of hands to the creative spirit inside you. And with a sense of responsibility to participate in what I believe is becoming a pivotal time in our world culture. I'll probably upset a lot of people, that's okay. I have a lot to say, and I'm not afraid to say what I believe. In the episodes ahead, I promise we do get down to work and get these hands dirty. Meanwhile, thanks for coming to the shed and joining this call to adventure. I am a survivor, discovering gratitude and purpose. I've been given a second chance, and I'm not going to waste it.